so we're going to do division of fractions, the models. We're going to do two different types of models. We're going to do circles, or like pie graphs, and number lines. So we'll do examples for both of those. Remember that at any time that you're doing a problem that involves the use of a model, you can go back and watch these videos and go through it step by step and pause it to make sure that you're doing all the steps that you need to do. And if you get stuck, of course, don't hesitate to come and talk to either myself or Mrs. Burns or Mrs. Potter the next day, so that we can get any confusion cleared up. Okay, so just like with multiplication, we're always going to start off doing the question mathematically first before we represent it as a picture. I like the reciprocation model most. I find it the easiest, most simple method of dividing fractions. So that is that's the model of math that I will use throughout these questions. If you want to use common denominator, then you can do that as you see fit. So let's get going. So we're going to change this to 5 over 1. Remember, when we are using the reciprocation model, we convert that to a multiplication question, and we flip this second fraction. So my new question then becomes 5 over 1 times 3 over 2. I check to see if anything can be simplified across. Nothing can, so that ends up being 15 over 2. That is an improper fraction that I have to convert to a mixed numeral. 2 goes into 15 7 times for 14. 15 take away 14 leaves us with 1 over our original 2. So we're going to start off with the circle. So we're going to represent this mathematical question using circles cut into like pie pieces. So the first thing we're going to do is draw what we have here. Okay, so we want to know if we have 5. So we're going to draw 5 circles. If we have 5 wholes and we divide them into 2/3, what will we have? So once we have our 5s, we're going to cut them all into pieces that are represented by our denominator. So I'm going to divide each one of these circles into 2/3. And we want to know how many 2/3 we can get out of 5 wholes. So what we're going to do here is we're going to count up our 2/3. So how I would do this is I would take each 2/3 and I would use a number to represent it. So for example, here we have 1 2/3. So here's a third, here's our second third. Okay, so that's 1. Here's our second 2/3, third, fourth, fifth, 6th, and 7th. And here we have a leftover one, which is 1 out of 2. Okay, it's important to remember that when we have a leftover that doesn't make a whole, it is out of the number of total in our numerator. Okay, so it's not our denominator. So it's not out of 3, because remember, we're counting 2/3. So we have 7 2/3 and 1 out of 2 possible 2/3 left over. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Our picture represents 7, and 1 remaining out of 2. That's how you would use the model circle.